Good Monday, everyone. How are we this week? I suppose it's debatable. I'm going to choose well.
I love it when you make me laugh straight at the start. That's it. I just give in. Can't even get a word in without laughing.
Oh my goodness.
Let's see who's joined us, because I know there's a bunch of people
waiting.
there waiting.
It looks like people who have Little Black Cat memberships.
Well, I can see this. I can see shout out to two of our channel members straight up, which is Gilda. Hello, Gilda. And hello, Anna.
And hi, Cassie.
Oh, there you go.
Happy Monday, everybody.
Happy Monday, yes.
So
yes.
for YouTube members, you would have gotten an email today. And if you don't see it, check your spam. Mm-hmm. You would have gotten an email telling you about the karma points money that you have to spend in the store. Mm-hmm. Because each member, even a $5 sweep team membership, gets $5 back in karma points. And then people who are the A team, the $20 members, they get $5 back in karma points and a special video just for them.
Dun, dun, dun.
So there you go.
Super special.
We have a lot to talk about today.
Oh, gosh.
Some really interesting developments this past week that are very exciting, but also a little bit exhausting.
We just have to up the pace a bit now. We just up the pace. That's all right. Who needs sleep anyway?
But
hello,
it's all
Wendy.
good. Hi, Wendy. Good Monday. Things are really starting to lift now.
I think so.
I don't think that it's just because it's spring, but I think that this cycle of solitary isolation, negativity, I mean, since the end of 2019,
it's been tough.
When the winter came, November, December, January 2019 into 2020, things got really weird. And we were in a territory that we'd never really been in before. And, you had to really focus and think and be responsible, not just for yourself, but for those around you. And as people responsible for a small community, it was really quite daunting. You wanted to do as much research as you could do and make sure that you were also fulfilling your obligation to care for those people. So you've heard us say over and over that the community did hold together and how proud we were of everyone, and we did a lot of Zoom circles and things like that to try to keep things focused. And one of the big projects that we were working on at that time, and we'd raised about $4,500 towards a project called Celtica. So basically what Celtica is a place where we would be securing land and providing like a living legacy of how to be in touch with nature, how to understand the movement of the sun, moon, and stars, how to care for the land, environmentally sound teachings, and all kinds of things that go with that, like beekeeping and animal husbandry and a museum. So we were working on securing a piece of land that had come up for sale in New Paltz. And it was, it did have some buildings, a big outbuilding that we could use as the great hall where we could serve farm-to-table dinners and have workshops and entertainment and certainly hold circles and things like that. And it also had an old farmhouse on it. And it was up for sale for $1.5 million. And then during the pandemic, things got really weird. The owners moved back to France, and then property went up, and then they moved the property value and decided they were going to ask for $3 million, and that put it right out of the picture.
Yeah. As lovely
because
as
we
the
wouldn't.
place is, it ain't $3 million worth either. To be
Right.
honest.
It probably was like 1.75. Plus, obviously, we would need funds to renovate and take care of things. All right. So we kind of put pay dirt to that, and we were quiet about it for quite some time, and we just kept doing whatever else we were going to do. You know, A, stay alive. B, keep the store afloat. You know, little things like that.
Adapt, improvise, overcome, as
Right.
the saying goes.
So now we kind of feel that we're coming out of that space of dormancy, and we are starting to work with a new fundraiser and a piece of property that is only about a third of the size, has come up for sale very near our home in Modena, where we have built Tinova. We, from our own money, have built a 2-story building to replace the old barn. And for some of you who have been watching the barn videos,
plenty more to come in that
there's
story.
a lot more to come in that story.
We're going to be playing catch up to make videos.
Basically, so we would have accommodation for people who are coming from all over the world,
wherever,
to be part of our community, to take Craft of the Wise courses, and to, be part of our tradition, and also study herbalism and taking care of the land. So this land has come up for sale quite close by, and we know it will work for things that we want to do, right? We want to preserve the land. We want to educate people how to preserve land. We want people to understand how nature is connected to all living beings. So we want to have a living museum, a craft museum, a Celtic roundhouse, which is made sustainably, and have, again, a place where people can come from all over the world to learn about nature and
how to get in harmony with it.
How to be in harmony with nature. So you're going to see that over the last few days, we've really been focused on redoing the pamphlet so it has the new property in it, and we've redone the video, and we have posted it on YouTube. So there's a Celtica, a Living Legacy video, and the Church of the Eternal Circle is also present there. You'll see to the side there's a donation button. So let me just say, please, if you know anyone who's interested in land preservation, preserving the old ways, or would like to make a donation to be part of the building of this legacy, please let them know to watch the video. And if they want to contact us
just reach out
personally, they could call the church or the store, and we'd be glad to talk to them. We also, like I said, are meeting with a new fundraiser who's pretty local and knows a lot of ins and outs in this area. So we're hoping that she'll be able to help us at least raise enough money to secure the land, and then we can go forward with like a piece at a time. We don't have to have the entire chunk of money to start. That's the estimated chunk of money that we would need to complete all the projects, like the Platikill Creek cleanup. We're going to do that.
It's a tributary to the
Walkill. So we can still do all the things that we were going to do on the larger piece of property, but on a smaller scale that will still make a difference, because to us, that's the important thing. We want to make a difference. So please do check out the Celtica video.
Yeah, we posted it yesterday afternoon, so it shouldn't be too hard to find. Oh, look, we've got slow internet again. We're perfect.
I suppose we're a spinning ball.
Hopefully we're not a spinning ball.
Check out the Celtica video, and if you do know anyone who would be interested in making a donation, even if it's only $5, because it will add up and they can make a difference. And then people who are making larger donations, depending on the size of their donation, we would be glad to name one of the buildings after them, or one of the benches in an herb garden, things like that. So later on we'll have sponsorship.
We have some ideas. We do have some ideas, but I think the first thing is, we've started, we scaled it right back, and we looked at what can we do in our own sort of postage stamp that we've got right now. But then opportunities start presenting themselves.
Right. If you stay focused and positive.
Yeah. There's opportunities are presenting themselves for, and this may not be the only piece of ground that's actually available.
Right.
So there's opportunity for considerable incremental growth down the road, because it would be so nice. I mean, we've gotten so out of touch with our planet. We really are, honestly, if you forgive the expression, we're pooping where we sleep.
Well, we are, yeah.
And it's not. We can't go on like this. I mean, we can see ourselves now. I mean, the devastating effect that we're having on the climate by our continued
tornadoes and floods and fires, and it's a global problem.
The window to do something about it is closing.
Is now, and that's why education is so important. Key. We really, we don't just want to secure the land to secure a piece of land that can't be developed. We want to secure the land so that we could have an educational center, so we can physically show people how to do organic gardening, sustainable stuff.
Living in harmony. I mean, give you an example for it. I mean, Lisa and I, when we were in Wales, our next door neighbour, dear old fella, loved him to small pieces. Sadly, long shuffled off this mortal coil now.
He was in his 80s then, 20 years ago.
But he actually taught us both how to pletch a hedge. And that might sound Greek to you, but trust me, it's not. But you've probably seen a bill hook or a hedging hook and what have you. But we know how to take a natural piece of
woodland
vegetation and turn it into like
a
hedgerow, which is a micro habitat to provide brilliant biodiversity, and it restores itself. It doesn't kill the plant that you use to make the hedge.
No,
it's not like
they're all still living because hedges are green, aren't they?
And so it restores itself, and it provides this wonderful habitat for like little creatures, little critters, birds and all that sort of stuff, pollinators. There's so many insects and all that sort of stuff. So this kind of stuff is really, really good for the environment.
There's some kind of quote about a hedgerow in one of the Led Zeppelin songs, I think.
Oh, if there's a rustle in the hedgerow, don't be alarmed now. It's just the sprinkling of the May Queen. The sprinkling of the May Queen.
All right. So do please pay attention, and do please help us out if you can. And again, just watching these videos helps us build watch hours.
It does, because we need to be less of a well-kept secret.
The other thing we'd love for you to share, if you find it, is Tarot for Tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
We've gotten up there now into the 500 views.
We've had a couple
so
break
we just
1,000.
need to add a couple of zeros on the end of that. We'll be going.
It's a fickle thing. I mean, it's some days I guess it gets into the shorts feed, and we sit there and we watch it. Go on. And then it's like, so we're getting there.
So we just need to be less of a well-kept secret, I think.
I think so, and you do a really good job with that. So if you've not checked out Tarot for Tomorrow, it comes out every night at
8 o'clock.
8 Eastern.
And it's the tarot reading for the following day.
Hence Tarot for Tomorrow. There's a clue in the title there. That's it. But unfortunately the way I think YouTube's algorithm works is they often put on Tarot for Tomorrow for the previous day or something.
They'll
like
play
that.
one
It's
from days ago.
Why are you showing March the 9th?
They'll play one from days ago that got a lot of hits, which tells us that people are watching. But what's Wendy say?
She says it's awesome. Tarot for Tomorrow is awesome. She does do a good job. She does, and it's just straight off the cuff. And I love it. It's
what the cards say at that moment, isn't it? Yeah.
Gotta love it. There was one. I know there was one. I can't remember the date of it now. But when we were, editing it to put it up on YouTube, I was going, What's
that's
this
the
whisper?
one with the other voice. That was strange. Yeah.
What's going on
That
here?
was last month, though.
Yeah, but I mean, let's have to see what weird and wonderful stuff happens in April.
This month. Because I record all of them for the month in one sitting. So I just
Get in the zone.
go. Yeah, get in the zone and
Get
go.
in the zone, go for it.
But that's nice for me too, because then I can take advantage of tarot for tomorrow, right?
I forgot what you said.
I say, what does it say for tomorrow, so I can prepare for it, So I love that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's cool.
The other thing I really wanted to talk about today, I know I'm kind of monopolizing conversation. I don't know if you're going to live through it.
It always happens. It's like talking stick at circle, Only the person with the stick can talk, unless of course you're Lisa. Yeah.
I wanted to talk about the full moon this week. So the Libra full moon is going to happen on the 6th at 12:34. 1, 2, 3, 4.
How cool is that?
All right, in Eastern Standard Time or Daylight Savings Time, wherever we are in our area,
wherever we are
in the Hudson Valley. 1, 2, 3, 4 on Thursday. So I know a lot of people have been asking, well, how do I figure out what to do on the full moon? You're always telling us that the full moon is you can do anything, you can do any kind of magic, and that's true. Whenever you have need. Once a month, and better it be when the moon is full. So you could just look at it as it's the full moon cycle. Things are coming to that place of power. The goddess is in her full nurturing mother aspect, and I can work magic for whatever I want. Absolutely true. You certainly could do whatever kind of magic you want. But when you dig a little bit deeper, you can see how other things are coming together. And this is what we were talking about as far as nature. Like when you think about springtime, Easter, Albaneiler, Ostara, you think about the colors that Anton is wearing. All these beautiful pastel colors,
I
right?
put this on deliberately.
You did?
I did.
Okay. You've got tulips and crocuses and daffodils and all of these beautiful pastel colors. Well, the moon is always full opposite the sun. What does that mean? Well, there are really 6 signs of the zodiac and their reflection.
But which is which?
So if you wrote down like Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and did I miss anybody?
No, you're up to 6.
And then across from Aries, you wrote Libra, then you kept going Scorpio, Sag, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. You would have the 6 signs and their reflections. So we know if we were born today, we would be Aries.
We would.
We're in the Aries time of year.
We are.
That cardinal sign that depicts the beginning of spring.
Hey Chris, how you doing? Thank you for joining us.
So if we think about the opposite sign of Aries, we find Libra. And it's really easy to see that reflection right now, right? Spring pastel colors correspond to Libra. That's Libra's colors. Pinks and blues and pastels, daffodils, tulips, right? And then if we think about it, and we looked to the opposite time of the year in the fall, in the Libra time of year, we would have the Aries full moon.
Yeah.
And that moon is all about oranges and reds and fiery colors, and we see those in the leaves. So nature really plays a big part of understanding this cycle of life and, when to plant, when to harvest, all those kind of things. So we know that if we were born today, we'd be Aries, and Thursday we'd still be Aries, so that means that we're having the Libra full moon. So people say, well, how do I refine the magic that I want to do? Well, again, obviously you could do healing work, you could do prosperity work, you could do whatever you wanted to do on the full moon, spiritual stuff.
But
whatever
start
it
thinking about what about the energies of Libra then?
Right.
What have we got
so
there?
Libra is justice, decision making. The justice card is the wisdom of Solomon, right? So it's about wisdom and understanding how to make choices and decisions. What's Gilda saying? I see her
Oh,
typing a whole bunch
she's
of
got
stuff.
like. I was holding off because there's quite a little bit there, and you'll get derailed.
Oh, okay. All right.
We'll come back to Gilda's
So you
stuff
could
in a
think
second.
about maybe the candles that you wanted to use on your altar being pastel colors. You could think about building and growing something for connecting to the fertility of springtime.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could think about bringing something into balance.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Because we have the sign of Libra is the sun balanced on the horizon. Yeah, the scales. There's all kinds of work you could do. Venus is the ruling planet of Libra, so it's Venus expressed through air, through cardinal air. Taurus is also ruled by Venus, but that's Venus expressed through fixed Earth.
Shiny stuff.
Which I think
Expensive
it's
gifts.
interesting to see that the next sign in line is Taurus, fixed Earth, ruled by Venus. So we have this Venus-ruled full moon, and then we have the sun sign that's ruled by Venus after that. So think about what kind of things you'd like to do. Do you want to use the aspect of Venus that creates love, or the Venus aspect that creates luxury? Do you want to work with fertility? For the springtime of year? Do you want to work with the lunation of the Ogham, which is willow, which is again deep wisdom?
Oh yeah.
So you could work your magic based on all of the correspondences. So you've got a couple of days to do a little bit more research. But again, you could think of pastel colors, justice, decision-making, wisdom, the scales, all those kind of things, fertility. And I know we're going to be doing some manifesting for Celtica.
So, interesting thing that this time of year and where we have that, we were talking about it last Monday, the equilux or the equinox.
Yeah, we made up our words.
We made up a word. It's equilux. Well, why not, But it's interesting that in the Tahote or Thoth, however you like to pronounce it,
Tarot, yeah.
justice is actually not justice, it's adjustment. And if you think about proper justice, real good justice, it's not punitive, it's restorative.
Exactly.
And restorative justice makes things right. So the idea of that sword and scales, on the Old Bailey or on the justice card is, to divide, to apportion out, and to balance things up, to weigh things up and balance them up and make sure that, adequate compensation is made. Justice is restorative.
That's the point, right? Oh, you harmed this person and destroyed whatever. Now, in ancient times, you would have to give them 3 cows or something.
Whatever the price is.
To make up for that.
You got it.
Oh
There
gosh,
it is.
they're next to each other.
Well, would you look
I was
at that?
going to say, this is the Aries card, the Emperor, and this is the Libra card.
Notice how their reflections are reflected across them from each other.
Can you hold them?
I can. I was. I just love. She's done it to me again. I'm halfway through something and going, here you go. Here's a tangent for you.
No, I wanted you to keep talking about your adjustment.
So it's a great time, astrologically, the Libra full moon, to restore balance and restorative justice, or make an adjustment in your life where something is out of balance and needs to be, restored. So that could be, restoring your health, restoring your fitness, whatever.
Peace of mind.
Yeah, it is. It's a really auspicious time for that. And that's one of the things, blowing our own trumpet, if you will, that we teach in the Craft of the Wise course. And the class that we most recently had was Magickal timing, which is kind of cool because that's sort of halfway through the course at that point.
And you can see the people going, yay, I get it.
But it is, you've probably heard the word catastrophe, right? And that basically means the stars just are poorly aligned and it's a catastrophe. It's all wrong. It's all to do with the heavenly alignments, the energy available from the astral bodies. But I will remind you respectfully, there is no such thing as an ill wind, or it's an ill wind that blows nobody any good. You've simply got to change the focus of your magic to, excuse me, I don't remember eating a frog. I should have brought some water in. Serves me right, eh? There you go. There's an adjustment I could make for next time. But you simply adjust the focus of your magic to take advantage of the available energy. And it's just, adapt, improvise, overcome, which brings us full circle back to Celtica, which is what we were doing. We're starting, so our initial plan, unfortunately, didn't pan out in its straight up guise, in its first guise.
But everything happens for a reason. It's probably a lot easier to deal with a different town than it would have been to deal with New Paltz.
I don't know. New Paltz is all right. New Paltz is okay.
I don't know. Sometimes they could be a little bit interesting.
Well, it's an interesting place, but it's all good. It's all good. We'll just cross whatever bridge we need to cross when we get to it. Let's not do that beforehand. There's so much that's good though that I can see there's an incredible opportunity here, and so we'll look at it. I'm going to give you those cards back because I don't know why you wanted them anyway.
I wanted to look at Aries and Libra and see.
Oh, well, there you go, looking across the wheel.
Yeah.
So what have we got then?
All right, Gilda's saying something.
She said, "Are you guys familiar with the Chapel of Sacred Mirrors, Alex and Alison Gray?"
They're across the river in Poughkeepsie, I believe.
Are they? I'm not, I'm afraid.
I've heard of them, but we keep to ourselves, Gilda, because we have our own tradition, and sometimes...
That chapel looks very costly. Maybe it is. I don't know.
I'm sure it is. I don't know.
We're not looking to build anything big.
No, we want to build a mud roundhouse.
Yeah. But
I mean, we do want to have a museum and a gathering place where people could come for a meal or a class. But we're not looking to develop the land.
No, it's how to do things sustainably.
The idea is how to sustain the land.
So that, your house, for want of a better word, effectively maintains itself.
Right. Solar, geothermal, things that are
well,
in keeping with the
let's
environment.
wind it back before then. Solar, yes, but not necessarily with photovoltaic. Heat from the earth. There's such a thing as you can actually run a little tunnel, which is what has been done plenty of times in very hot climates, what have you, where you can actually get natural air conditioning without actually doing anything. It's like geothermal stuff. Gilda, I only what? Yurt? A yurt! Yurts are a fabric Nordic structure, aren't they?
Yes, no, we're looking for a Celtic roundhouse, and if you look at the Celtica video, you'll see more of what we're talking about.
We actually there's a place in Wales that we've been
Iron
working
Age Village
with.
reconstruction.
Velin Ichaf, and they're very happy to come over and actually teach us how to do this, how to burn the ends of the logs so they don't rot, and how to establish everything. It's totally sustainable. And the amazing thing about this is because it's classed as a temporary structure, it doesn't need planning permission.
Right.
What
is Gilda saying now?
I was more so for a donation. Well, yeah.
Well, that's the thing.
We'll
churches, we would take a donation from anyone.
Anybody. We would.
But other churches are really working very hard to raise their own money. So it's very unlikely that even though they are like-minded people, that they would be able to give a donation because they have to use their donations to run their church.
Most everything costs way more than you think.
Yeah. I mean, just the insurance to have what we have in New Paltz, to have public gatherings and our little annex. The shop has paid the insurance for that building since the beginning, even though technically the church is renting it, because the church doesn't make enough money to pay for that right now.
Church isn't what you might call overburdened with donations.
Yeah, we're not really like the Catholic
We're not like
church
these
there.
mega churches out in the Midwest.
Or Joel Osteen, who has billions of dollars.
And a private plane.
And a private plane.
Yeah, very nice too. Yeah, no.
But yeah, I did reach out to some other pagan or esoteric entities when we were starting to fundraise, and I didn't ask them for money per se, but I asked them, how are you raising money? And most of them said that they found a like-minded person who cared about the project that they were doing. And then they pretty much had to sustain what they were doing after that through their gatherings, workshops, teachings, things like that. Or through a cause. For instance, there's Circle Sanctuary, which is Selena Fox's place in Wisconsin, and she puts on gatherings like Pagonicon or something like that. And she also does legal work for pagan folks. So things are sustained through other means. But yeah, I know if somebody came to our church and said, my church needs a donation, will your church make a donation to my church? We're kind of working really hard.
Are bare.
We're working really hard to create our own thing, so it's hard to ask other people who are working that hard to,
It's funny, isn't it? When I think what it really is. I mean, somebody who would support us would probably be very few and far between, simply because, I mean, we're talking at a significant benefactor level, because I know this sounds really balmy, but really rich people have gotten good at hoarding money, and not so good at necessarily looking at the things in the different lens. These people are, and obviously there's always exceptions that
no,
prove
we're
the
talking
rule.
about the Elon Musks
But
and Jeff Bezos.
somebody will see something as, oh, there's a forest. How many board feet of lumber can I get out of that? Because that's that commercial amass money mindset, right? Whereas we see the forest and we see it as a group of sentient beings that have a right to exist in their own lives, have sovereignty. And without trees we would have no oxygen. And we would not exist. So it's a symbiosis, and it's like living in balance. And if you go through the Celtica video, you'll see the amount of deforestation in the Amazon is having a massive climate effect right now. Just ripped out so much and plant things, because we want palm oil plantations or whatever, because we all want.
This is all alluded to in the Celtica video. Fundraising through a grant writer. That's a great idea. Find one. We spent, 6 months searching for a grant writer. They all tell you, oh, you should get a grant. Tell us how.
The big issue with grants is, especially if they've come through some government or non-governmental organisation, the very fact that we are necessarily a religious organisation tends to preclude you from actually qualifying from that grant in the first place, because they're seldom awarded to
religious.
But our spirituality is key to what it is. It's there are very few tenets, if you will, of our spirituality, but responsibility for your own actions and respect for all living things are two of them. So it's but this is it. If people learn to live in harmony with nature, everything gets on better. Harmonies sound better than disharmonies musically.
Right. Well, just learning how not to be wasteful is a good start.
Oh my God.
But
we just are. We throw so much away. And massive trash heaps. I mean, there's a floating trash island the size of France in the middle of the Pacific Ocean,
which is going to threaten the saline conveyor soon.
It's just, I don't know. What are you going to do?
I'll
get off my soapbox.
What else
anyway.
is Chris saying now?
Lisa should be able to get on small business owner. It's not a business though, is it?
It's not a business. Well, the shop is a business, absolutely. But
can't be mingling funds.
You can't mingle the funds between the shop and the church. Although the shop could certainly donate money to the church, and it absolutely has by paying the insurance and things like that. But I couldn't necessarily get a grant for a woman-owned business and then just turn that grant over to the church.
Yeah.
There's a lot of legalities when you have a 501c3.
Oh,
you have to be really careful.
Squeaky clean.
That we have a board of directors. There's many rules that you have to follow, even if you are a church, certainly, for a nonprofit, for a federally recognized nonprofit. And thankfully, we've been able to cross all the T's and dot all the I's and take care of the church since 2008. So just to have something like that be sustained for that period of time is a really good thing in this today's environment, no pun intended. But yeah. So what are we talking? 15 years we've had the 501c3, and since 97 we've had the church, and since 93 we've had the shop. So
30 years.
Yeah.
30 years this year.
To sustain a metaphysical store for 30 years and to have a circle, a community of like-minded people for 27 years, you think that we're going to be able to sustain that and, work towards what happens after we leave
Shuffle
here.
Off this mortal coil.
I'd love to think that we have another good 25 or 30 years, but nothing like that is guaranteed. So we definitely want to have a legacy, a place where all the work that we've done for the last 30 years can continue to exist and be propagated, meaning that the tradition survives, the understanding of being in harmony with nature survives, the land that we have for the church, stays in the church, and that there would be people running that craft museum and still
forever
teaching the things that are important to the community that we've built. A place that will live for as long as the planet.
Well, yeah, hopefully. I mean, that's the
Well, we're
thing.
talking about a seed bank and organic planting and, living a spiritual, magical, natural life.
And this was the amazing thing. I mean, when people try to have us explain Celtic spirituality, I honestly believe there was no such thing as Celtic spirituality. It's just
their way
it
of
was
life,
just
yeah.
like in similar to Native American spirituality, and I can't speak with any degree of authority on I'm obviously not Native American, but my understanding is that the sentiment is very much shared, and it's not about what about my rights. It's about what about my responsibilities.
Right.
And
There wasn't a division between religion and living.
None. It is all of it.
Spirituality was part of your survival.
Even if you can't necessarily put a name on it, and I know our gods, our deities, have many different names all throughout the land, and different tribes probably have different deities.
And you're talking Celtic tribes, not necessarily Native American tribes. Yeah.
But it's again. How we all worship, how even in modern times, how we worship is personal to us, and whatever spiritual path speaks to us. But it's still part of our lives. It should be that cognizance of forces at work that we don't necessarily understand or can explain.
And karmic understanding that your actions have responses.
Consequences, absolutely. You're free to do what you want, but you are not free of the consequences of those actions.
Well, right. But what I'm trying to say is karmically, a good action has a response as well as a bad action, right? So it's important to want to make a difference, because then you are making a difference. Rather than say, oh, well, I don't like this shirt or this outfit anymore. I'm just going to throw it in the trash and I'll go to the landfill. No, donate it to Goodwill, or donate it to somebody who crafts and will, use the material for something else. Big things, little things, making a difference.
People who would come and do an immersive course with us will come away with stuff they can take back to their own lives to make, collectively, maybe only little things, but collectively, those little things, if more and more people do the little things,
right,
it has massive change.
So now they know, well, when I go home, I can be more mindful about this, and this. Not just the spiritual practices, but the practical practices, right? I'm not going to buy 40 bottles of water and throw those plastic bottles in recycling and hope they get recycled. Maybe they won't. I'm going to have a glass bottle that I refill. Little things to big things to make a difference to help the planet.
Start
And
composting.
all living beings, right? How to compost if you have property. Don't just,
You don't need much property to compost.
Why would you be bagging your leaves and again throwing them on a landfill where they may get burned up rather than reused? Little things to big things. And I know I'm hopping all over the place, but I want to make it clear that it isn't just about understanding the cycles of the sun, moon, and stars. It's understanding the cycle of the earth within that. And when you were talking about spirituality per se, it wasn't necessarily that people thought they were separate things.
They weren't.
They were in harmony with nature, and they knew, I can see what's going on in the sky. It's going to be too cold. I shouldn't plant my plants now. And yes, that is a spiritual thing, but it's also a practical thing,
There's a marker which is really cool because in Celtic times, really really like early Celtic, early Bronze Age, something like that. You're talking about where there used to be like a light half and a dark half of the year,
right?
And it's dead simple to work out because
Callan Mai and Callan.
Exactly.
Callan Have and Callan Gaev, yeah.
Exactly. And we call it the Mayflower, hawthorn, whitethorn. When that blooms, this is nature telling us the danger of frost is past. So that's safe then to do your agricultural work. And the end of the growing season is when the first frost comes, which coincides with Callan Gaev. And whilst you can work that out astronomically and astrologically by observing the patterns of the moving astral bodies, you've also got those two markers as well, which coincide with it. And it was really interesting that I think it was last year.
It was last year.
The very first frost occurred on Callan Gaev.
And then you had Rowan as late as possible, so that the Hawthorn lunation was actually
quite late,
like the second week of May, I think. And we all thought, gosh, but we really had frost quite late last year. I'm waiting now because we have like 900 plug plants.
She's been gone mad, I'll tell you.
All kinds of squash and vegetation and things that I'm hoping we'll have enough to can some tomatoes and again sell those to raise money. But I mean, one year we canned over 1,000 mason jars of things. We made pickles and sauces and soups and all kinds of things and sold them to raise money for the church. But this year we have started the more permanent gardens for Celtica. We have some fruit trees, 3 apple, a plum, 2 peach, 2 pear. We have 4 hazelnut trees, and then we have all the berries.
7 elders.
We've got say what?
7 elders.
7 elder trees. It worked out that one had lived that I had propagated from my friend Helena Shepko. So she runs Schwangum Farms where they do sheep shearing, and you'll see her name come up in the Celtica pamphlet because she would be more than happy to teach how to spin and weave for us. But anyway, so we have 7.
She knows her wool.
7 elders. We have strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, raspberries, gooseberries. So that they're all in containers right now, but they're perfectly safe. And they're quite young, but they will be part of the sustainable gardens. And then we're starting the herb gardens. We have a list of probably 20 different herbs, and we're looking to order some rose bushes, but they're a little expensive this time of year.
We tried propagating rose. It's quite tricky.
Yeah,
we're learning.
Rose from seed is almost impossible. But we're talking about having rose and echinacea. I have 16 lavender plants coming. But we do have to be careful with funds because everything is
so expensive.
Costly. But right now our main focus is to raise enough money to secure the property before it gets purchased by someone who is going to develop it.
Yep. We don't want to do that. We, it's, they're not making any more land, and whilst I'm sympathetic to the need for affordable housing and all that sort of stuff, quite often around us, it's not like an affordable housing development goes in anywhere, is it?
Right.
They might put one affordable
this
housing
is going to be
unit
affordable housing, sustainable property,
Yeah.
eco-friendly. Oh, there's one apartment that somebody might be able to afford. Right. Okay.
The other 400 or whatever.
A scar.
Plenty money.
Scar upon the land instead.
Everybody wanting to build everything taller to see the beautiful view. Yes, and you ruin the view by doing it.
View, yeah.
It's just interesting.
So yeah,
such is life.
So our main focus right now is to raise enough money to secure the property. So
yes.
Pretty please share that Celtica video, and if you know anybody who's interested in preserving land or preserving the old ways, or even would like to come later on as a teacher,
well, that's really interesting, because somebody, I had the great pleasure of bumping into somebody the other day, who I think would be a wonderful environmental evangelist, for want of a better word. Environmental justice for and we're talking about the Libra full moon, so it's justice for the environment.
Yeah.
It has a right. We abuse our earth so much, and we owe our existence to her, so we need to do something about the abusive relationship. We can't change everybody in the world, we can't change the whole world, but we can set those seeds in motion, and
my dad's favorite hymn was "Brighten the Corner Where You Are." It was only recorded by Burl Ives, so that's pretty strange. But anyway, but it's true, and when Christopher Hughes was here teaching Celtic spirituality, one of his sayings was, "Do your best in your own square mile."
True. Yeah.
And if everybody did that, then the world would be a better place, So
there you go. That's what we're endeavoring to do.
It's about respect and love and caring for people, bringing things back into balance. Things have been kind of tipped the other way for
too long.
A bit now. We need to go back the other way.
Absolutely. So we should do some cards for our channel members, shouldn't we? We should definitely. Who we got? We got Gilda and Anna.
Gilda and Anna are here,
okay.
So we should do
a
card for the channel members. Okay, let me light the candle, because I like having a candle lit when we do that kind of stuff.
That candle, because honey, are sure hard to handle now. Yes, indeed.
All right. So what kind of format are you proposing to do readings?
I have no idea. I'm gonna ferret in and see what I pull out.
Who is this for?
I guess Gilda was here first. So what we got, Gilda? Oh, we got the Page of Swords. I think you're on that precipice. You want to burst forth and do something, and it's almost like, right, let's what? There's so much pent up energy in there. So I guess it's coming out of the forced prison of the dark times of the winter and all that sort of stuff. And I think getting outside will do you good. I think it really will. You'll feel a lot better. Oh, lots of people chiming in now. That's nice. But yeah. This is a very interesting Aryan balance card, this as well. I love it.
My reading for you, Gilda, when he pulled this out, I thought of my one-liner for this card is cutting through the crap, right? But when I saw this card for you, I thought about how Yoda operates. And what I mean by that is Yoda always says the most important thing first. We kind of look at him as backwards speak, but Yoda really is forward speak, right? So when he's talking to Luke the one time, he says, "When my age you become, look as good you will not," right? So when you are having your visitor later this month, shameless plug for the tarot scopes that are up, right? So the tarot scopes are out for April. So I do an overview of the planetary stuff, and then I do individual cards and planetary work for each sign. So I'm an Aquarius as well. And I think there's going to be some challenging folks for us. So my advice is,
don't run them through.
Say the most important thing first, right? It's not necessarily about stabbing someone, even though you might want to, but being very clear about boundaries, right? This is how it is. We can talk, we can negotiate, we can whatever, but this is the bottom line. This is how it is. And express that first, like Yoda. When my age you become, look as good you will not. All right.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
So Anna said she likes burl ives. My mom, I grew up in a very interesting household. My mom and my mom's family actually were very, very musical. Her mother played the organ at church. They all sang. They all did harmonies. Her older brothers and sisters sang on the radio.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they were very, very much into music. So my mom loved all kinds of music, from Placido Domingo right on through appreciating rock and roll and modern music in her era. 30s music, 40s music, 50s music. John Denver, my mom was ecstatic when John Denver and Placido Domingo recorded together, and that was the most bizarre album. Perhaps Love, yeah. Because you have perhaps love is like a resting place, a shelter from the storm. It was the most bizarre collaboration, but it worked somehow. And my dad, who could not carry a tune in a bucket, liked Johnny Cash and Burl Ives and all this kind of country music. And in fact, what's really interesting is my mother was Libra and my dad was Taurus, so they were the two expressions of Venus. And they were married 46 years when my mom passed away. But anyway, we had all kinds of things in our house. And I remember this one night, my dad was putting on the Johnny Cash show. My mother called him Johnny One Note. And she said, look at him. He's trying to find his note. Plink, hum. I don't know why he bothers. He's going to sing the same note anyway. Used to make me laugh. But they really appreciated all different kinds of music. And so I got exposed to all kinds of things. And I don't remember why I came down this road.
I have no idea. But it was.
But anyway.
Burl Ives. We were talking about, but people love Burl Ives.
But I do think Bright in the Corner Where You Are is a really cool little hymn. And I do think that music is very healing.
It is. And you know what? Music is strangely magical. It provides a direct contact to the psyche, I think. And it transcends language. Everybody can understand music well. I say that. There is a big difference between Western and Eastern forms of music, and sometimes I don't quite get it.
The different scales, right?
Well, yeah, it's also... Yeah.
All right, so this is Anna's card.
Go for it,
Anna is taking her first post-COVID big trip.
Oh, go for it. That's going to be awesome.
Okay.
Don't set fire to the card.
No. Well, I think that you're going to have to divide your attention into many different things. So I like to call this card whack-a-mole. You ever see that game where all these heads come up and you have to whack them all? So I think heightened awareness will be part of your success. By that I mean don't put yourself in a place where you're not comfortable, right? And, there's something to be said for mind, body, and spirit, right? So you want to be spiritually comfortable and aware. You want to be mentally on your game. And then you also want to be physically aware of your surroundings and know that not everybody is as with it as you might be as far as taking care of your physical health. What do you see in there?
I love this. I don't know whether you've noticed on this card, it's one of these things that is actually there in plain sight but hidden. He's got one boot on and one shoe on, and it's interesting that his back foot is the boot and his front foot is the shoe. So this to me is like moving, because these are, the boots are the manual labourers and the shoes are the
gentry, yeah,
so to speak. So joking apart, I think you can get an upgrade. So I think that's a perfectly reasonable thing to expect. You might have to jump through a few hoops to do it, but I think there's nothing here that you can't handle either. You've totally got this. It's going to be a little hectic, as Lisa says, a little hectic, and
lots of things to pay attention to. I think
it can be stressful, especially if you've not travelled for a long time, and especially if you're have to cross borders. I don't know where you're going, but if you do, then just be mindful, and just be mindful, especially if you are crossing borders, that our reputation is not all it once was. So there may be hostility expressed towards you just simply for where you come from.
Well, she actually comes from Texas, so she's going home.
Oh.
So it'll be all right.
Oh, well, you are crossing a border. Yeah.
Anyway, I just think trying to, have eyes on things. But I do see it being safe, and I think that you can keep your head up, above the.
Do you know, I once, the only place I've been to in Texas is Austin, and I once taught there for Apple, and oh my goodness, they were so nice down there. But that's probably because I've got this wacky accent, so But Austin's quite pleasant, I have to say that. I was quite pleasantly surprised. It was very warm. I was in there in December, and it was just like kind of hot. Well, I'm going to Texas. Yeah, you are crossing the border. That's right. Just don't remember the pickup truck.
So I wanted to close with some healing.
Oh, yeah. Why
not? We will be doing free card readings the last Monday evening of the month. We're going to go back to the free-for-all free one cards for everybody. And then our channel members would get 3 card readings, right? A more in-depth reading. But on our Magickal Mondays, we really don't have time for that. All right. So, quick, we're going to do card for the week.
Oh.
And then we're going to do a little healing energy.
Well, look at you go.
You want to pull it? Card for the week.
Oh, you see, I get the blame then. Ten of Swords.
All right.
I just knew I was going to pull a crap card.
Well, it might be an interesting week. I'd like you to note his fingers are crossed and he's not dead. So I think
I'm not dead.
Chakra balancing is probably an important thing.
An adjustment.
An adjustment
is really necessary.
Choose the magic that you're going to do for this moon.
I think it's going to be a rough week. I really do, and I think unfortunately. I'm certainly not going to make any political comments, but I think it's.
Well, talk about justice.
Front and center of the what's
stress
going on here, and I'm afraid, was it Angela Mayu who said, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them the first time, kind of thing.
Oh.
I think there's going to be a lot of rock hurlers come out from under rocks.
Her name's not Angela Mayu, but
I don't know whoever it was. I forget.
I quote her in my tarot scopes, actually.
Well, good for you, because
I can't think of how to say her name now that you said it different. That's so weird. Oh God! Well, I want that kind of the senility.
See, no, it's not senile. I've just got so much to do. Yeah. Sometimes just remember the better part of valor is discretion.
All right.
So it might be prudent not to get in a slinging match this week.
All right. So what we're going to do is chant the word healing 7 times, and we're going to start with crown chakra. Right. So we're going to bring in light from above to fill our physical body with love and light and joy and peace and all those wonderful things that the white light has to offer. So we're going to chant healing 7 times, and you're going to come crown, third eye, throat, heart, solar, spleen, base. Okay? So first, maybe you want to even just symbolically open up your arms so that you're ready to receive this energy. Okay? Healing. Throat. Heart. Solar plexus. Spleen. Base. And hopefully there's a tingling, buzzing, singing, happy energy.
You got a lot of sustain there.
I can hold a note.
It's a lot of sustain.
I'm starting to be able to breathe again, so I can hold a note again. How awesome is that? All right, everybody.
There was somebody who said hello, and they're all the way. Where are they? Oh, there you are. Cassie, we don't really pull cards only for channel members today. Cassandra, she's, I believe, in, because she says good evening. She's in Cyprus, I think.
All right, okay.
So welcome in
Join
Cyprus.
us the last Monday evening of the month. We'll be doing the free cards then.
Absolutely.
Right.
But do please contemplate becoming a channel member if you aren't already, because that
Subscribe
will
at
help.
least.
Yes, and share our stuff.
Check for your karma.
everywhere.
Check for your karma points. Check for the tarot for tomorrow. Watch our videos, as many as you can, even if you have them on with the sound off. And please, please, please help us to make Celtica come true.
Apparently our lava lamp was going nuts during that. We'll go back and watch it, eh? We'll see that.
Well, we always have to have the lava lamp. We're old hippies.
Oh, yeah. Well, all studios have to have lava lamps. It's the law.
It's the law.
It's the law. You can't have a studio without having a lava lamp.
I'd actually move away from the table because I felt like there was so much energy. That's really good. So thank you to all who participated.
Yes.
Thank you in advance to all who will share. And do stay well, and we'll see you next Moon Day.
We will. Have a beautiful day and be blessed.
Namaste.
Namaste, indeed. Okay, see you guys. Bye.
Bye.